Alright, so Star Wars Skeleton Crew Episode 4 has aired, and here are my quick thoughts on it. So before I get into my thoughts on Episode 4, I think it is very important to kind of circle back to how I felt about the third episode of Skeleton Crew. Just real quick, I thought Episode 3 was kind of just a episode that'll move the plot along. It wasn't really crazy, wasn't really action-packed, didn't do a whole lot for the story besides get our characters to the next point to move the story forward. I do kind of want to retract that statement because I did go back and rewatch episode 3, and there actually was a lot of cool action. We saw the kids piloting the ship, we saw the X-Wings, we saw a little bit of a space battle involving our characters, and I think I gave that episode a little too hard of a time, especially now that we've seen episode 4. So what I said about episode 3 is kind of now applied to episode 4 because this episode really was just that. Just a filler stepping stone to get our characters to the next place to just kind of slowly progress this story to the next episode. There actually wasn't that much action in this episode, just a lot more world building and character development, which again is very necessary, especially when you're working with limited episodes like this. It's cool to get those small moments with certain characters that kind of builds their personality up or what they stand for, and I think we got a lot of that here. So again, just a small critique, not by any means saying that I don't like the episode. I thought it was still good, I'm still really enjoying it, but definitely a step down from what we've been getting through the first 3 episodes. I think it's cool that we are seeing these planets from the Old Republic that have been demolished. I didn't expect there to be inhabitants on these planets, so that's really cool. They've got their own little army going on this planet. They have enemies on the planet, even though it is in shambles. I wonder why they decide to stay on this planet. That would be interesting to kind of dive into. But from what we see in this little Coliseum area, where they see the pillars with all the coordinates to the Old Republic planets, there is a lot more that they can potentially go to, and I think we are going to see that in the coming episodes that will kind of fill out the story until the finale when they hopefully reach Attin. And I'm excited to see what each of these planets hold. Hopefully that is going to be what these episodes consist of. They run into issues along the way, as I kind of predicted, because, there's only so much you can do with this story, but visiting each of those individual planets before getting the information to return to Attin might be a good way to take this story, and I think would be really interesting. We could definitely get some good Old Republic lore and just some more information that might make the galaxy feel a lot bigger and really show its scale. Also in this episode, we get a couple cool character moments, as I mentioned, one with Neel and one with Fern. Fern kind of realizing that she isn't cut out to be this so-called captain that she wants to be addressed by. She wants to lead everything. She wants to, be in charge. And she kind of has this emotional breakdown moment realizing she's not really cut out to do that. It's harder than she thought. And then Wim kind of steps in and tells her how he feels about her, saying, you're amazing, you can do this, we got this, what do we do? He is looking to her, and she kind of realizes that in the midst of taking this role, she has taken on that responsibility, and while she is kind of crumbling under it, and it is harder than she thinks, she still has people like Wim looking up to her, so she decides to kind of buck up and take it on the shoulder, and I think that's a really good character development moment for her. And then the scene with Neel talking to this young kind of warrior girl on this planet, it seems as if he kind of likes her. He's kind of scooting in close to her and stuff, and talking to her and laughing and being very lighthearted with her. So that was kind of cool to see. Again, going back to the relatability of these kid characters, we've all had those little crushes where you can't help but just be goofy and want to be near them. So that was kind of cool to see. But it takes a little bit of a darker turn when this character starts talking about the consequences of war and why they go to war, where Neel, again, is very sheltered, just like all these other kids, and doesn't really understand why war is necessary and happening. And she kind of gives him the lowdown, saying that, I don't like war, but it is necessary to live, to survive, to feed our people, which is the sad reality, not only in the Star Wars galaxy on certain planets and in certain eras, but it also, again, goes back to that real-world relatability. I felt as if this message could be applied to the current state of the world, which was really cool to see as well, that kind of double meaning if you want to look at it like that, because I'm all for putting messaging in media, Star Wars, other properties, as long as it isn't shoehorned in there and right in your face. I think this was the perfect example of being able to put in a real-world message and get your point across without making the audience feel dumb and put it right in their face, you know? I kind of had to dig a little deeper and sit there and be like, oh, that's actually really valid to what's happening in the world right now, which is kind of always what Star Wars was in a sense. A lot of real world parallels, but not in your face. You kind of had to dig for it and know your stuff to know the point that was trying to be made. But again, with that being said, and on the other hand, this is a very great encapsulation of the Star Wars galaxy. And again, this difference between these sheltered kids and what is actually out there in the galaxy, which I hope we continue to build upon and see all the parallels and see their eyes open to what the galaxy actually is and has been since the Old Republic, which is all they know of. But yeah, that is about it for my thoughts on episode 4. Again, I really enjoyed it. A lot slower than the first 3 episodes, a little bit of filler, but again, those character building moments and the world building, I cannot complain about that in the slightest. I'm excited to see where they continue to take this story. Hopefully, they visit these other planets and get some more information on how to get back to their home planet, all while giving us some more world building and some more Old Republic lore coming into canon. But for now, I am done talking. I want to know what you have to say now down in the comments below. Did you enjoy episode 4 of Skeleton Crew? Why or why not? I'm really excited to hear what you have to say, and I will be responding to all those comments in the next couple of days. Also, while you're at it, make sure to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.